Right. So this is the second part of the Aldous Huxley's Adonis and the Alphabet chapter analysis, right? By me, Semen del Piso, the Duke of Depravity. Quite the opposite, actually. I've actually been on semen retention on this current streak for about 7 months from this point. So let's get right into it. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's continue, shall we? Let's continue on this analysis. Last time we left off, we were talking about Mr. Noyes' wonderful book on, male continence, as brought up in the chapter of the appendix by Aldous Huxley. Let us, okay, there's another person, right, that Aldous Huxley brings up. So Robert Dale Owen has advocated for coitus interruptus, but Noyes had read his Bible and had no wish to emulate Owen, nor did he approve of contraceptives, those tricks, as he called them, of the French voluptuaries. Instead, he advocated for male continence and what Dr. Stockham was later to call carezza. I'm going to tell you something, guys. So what Robert Dale Owen is talking about is coitus interruptus, edging. Guys, we know this, right? It's basically sleeping with someone and then stopping yourself before you commit the act. What Robert Dale Owen didn't really understand, because he's long gone, long since gone now. What he doesn't understand is that when you start to have that act, that very emotional, intimate, lustful act, right? Your body, remember, it prioritizes the reproductive system. You, as a male, you are automatically producing sperm. So even if you do not let that go, you still have to, it's still produced, and it cannot go back into its prior gross product, semen. So now it has to get out. So you already lost the energy regardless. Don't listen to what Robert Dale Owen says. I know that a lot of you guys are gonna be on your semen retention journeys and thinking that, oh, okay, this guy said that edging is good, and let's put it on this Reddit article that I'm going to write. Like, oh, edging is great, this guy said it. No, it is not. The moment you produce sperm is when you lose. The sperm has to be ejaculated. It has to be evacuated. Not ejaculated necessarily, but it has to leave your body. The moment you get into coitus interruptus, referenced by this classic antiquated Robert Dale Owens, you lost. It's as simple as that. It's so interesting, guys. Whenever I start talking about like God, Jesus Christ, and like sexual continence, people get so weird. I'm sure you guys could see in the video, like this guy was just like walking so close and he pretended to not even see me and tried to bump into me. I'm sitting down. Come, what's wrong with this place? What's wrong with God, why did you make him so malleable? Anyway, let's continue. So, like I said, don't listen to Robert Dale Owens. He's trying to advocate for edging. Don't edge. The moment you get into the sexual act, the moment you conceive the sexual act, the body's already going into motion and you're gonna produce them sperms, right? And then that's it, you've lost. They have to get out of your body. So that means you've lost energy. With the most exemplary scientific detachment, he began by analyzing the act of sexual intercourse. Porphine, right? Finally, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Its beginning and the most elementary form is the simple presence of the male organ in the female. As we all know, that's how it works. That's how you initiate it. Presence is followed by motion, motion by crisis. Interesting. The French also say that the orgasm is like le petit mort, right? The little death, right? Crisis. Why do they say ejaculation is crisis? That's very interesting. Why do they say that? Did they understand from a long time ago that with ejaculation comes the nearing to death of the physical body, of the mental, of the various systems of the body? Yes, we know this. But, obviously we got to go back in time to learn more. But now, suppose the man chooses to enjoy not only the simple presence, but also the reciprocal motion, and yet to stop short of the crisis, edging. If you say that this is impossible, I answer that I know it is possible, nay, that it is easy. Do you hear this delusional fool? Do you hear this idiot? He's saying, of course, it's not hard to edge. Of course, it's not hard to get into the beginning of the initial motion of the intimate motion, right? And it's easy to stop short before the crisis. Everyone can do that. That's not hard. The problem is that it is a problem. Like I said, the reproductive system in the body is the most prioritized system of all systems, right, in the body. When you are beginning to sleep with someone, the sperms are produced. Because the secondary function of the reproductive organ in males and females, in addition to the urinary function, is the propagative function. They said it to us. So the sperms will be released and the energy is lost. Your reality is in a crisis, right? Your knees are getting weak, your eyes are getting dull, and your brain is getting slow. This is the natural occurrences. This is just reality. He knew because he himself had done it. Oh my goodness, Robert Dale Owens, you special individual, you unique soul. Beginning in 1844, I experimented on the idea that the amount of function of the sexual organs could be separated from the propagative. It cannot. It cannot. I'm arguing with a perished soul. But it's just that, guys, do not listen to these guys. Anyone that tells you that you can edge in sex, you could do it, it's possible. The thing is, it is wrong if you're on the path of semen retention. You have already lost. The moment you start edging, you have already lost. The body will produce the sperms have to escape the body. You cannot reconvert, you cannot do some weird stuff like reconsume the gross product. You cannot. It is over. You must go in time again to produce this force. Hey, he wants to listen. I love it. Kids always want to listen, you know, they always want to listen to the truth. And found that the self-control it required is not difficult. And also that my enjoyment was increased. Also that my wife's experience was very satisfactory, which had never been before. Also that we escaped the horrors and the fear of involuntary propagation. The thing is, the truth is, we're not going to talk about this anymore. I'm getting triggered. Oh my gosh. Because this is just stupid. Guys, this is just dumb. Do not listen to this freak. Noyes was a born prophet, a missionary in the bone. Having made a great discovery, he felt impelled to bring good news unto others. I like that. That's essentially what a prophet is, right? Except, the prophets of the Old Testament, post Solomon's and David's horrible sexual sin that condemned the rest of the children of Israel, right? I mean, those prophets were like sort of they were heralds of bad news, right? Well, because they did bad. But for the most part, prophets are good people, right? Muhammad was a good person. Jesus was a good person that brought good news at the end of the day. And to bring it was more in the same package with what he believed to be true Christianity. Thank goodness. I like this guy Noyes. He knows what he's talking about. He knew what he was talking about. He preached, he made disciples. It seems like he was trying to imitate Jesus, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as the proper act is done. As long as the right thing is completed. Okay, first in Vermont, he brought them together in a community, and later in Oneida in upstate New York. Religion, he declared, is the first interest, and sexual morality the second in the great enterprise of establishing the kingdom of God on earth. I like this. I like this guy. He had hope. He had like drive too. Clearly from the practice of semen retention, male continence, sexual continence, whatever you want to call it. At Oneida, the religion was perfectionist Christianity, and the sexual morality was based upon the psychophysiological practices of male continence and the social law of complex marriage. Like all earlier founders of religious communities, Noyes disapproved of exclusive attachments between the members of his group. So he wasn't a monogamist. I differ from that, my good sir Noyes. I differ in believing that. He merely believed that group love was better than exclusive love. I would not, he wrote, set up a distinction of right and wrong between general and special love, except that special love, when false, makes more mischief. I insist that all love, whether general or special, must have its authority in the sanction and the inspiration of the sending fellowship. Okay. I got something to say. So it was interesting. This makes me think back onto Young Justice, right? One of the episodes in the newest season where, what's his name? The green guy, right? He was a part of Atlantis. He lived in Atlantis. They had like this polygamous relationship that they showed us, which wasn't really necessary, but I guess they were following that theme that Young Justice tended to follow, which was showing us the inner workings and the inner lives of the characters involved in the show, in the wider plot. Sure, with polygamy, you are sort of cutting down the idea of jealousy because you're sharing your love with everyone. Hey, yeah, what's going on? Yeah, sure. Here. Thank you. No problem. De nada. Sure, you are getting rid of that jealousy issue, but the only reason jealousy would ensue is if there is a cultivation. This is now metaphysical, mental work now. If there's a cultivation of the coveting of other women. That's the problem. We need to control ourselves. We need to control ourselves. Noyes, that's a good option. I like male continence. I like the idea. What needs to be done is that there needs to be a control of the self, the mental. Stop desiring so many things. We don't need them. We're just propagating more things in the world, more beings and souls. We're trapping them here. I don't agree with this, Noyes. I'm sorry, but I like you anyway. You're a very solid guy. The men found their self-denial. Here we go, lads. Here we go. Come hither. The men found their self-denial rewarded by an experience that once physical and spiritual that was deeper and richer than that of unrestrained sexuality. Do you hear what this guy was saying based off the accounts of the men in his community that he founded that practiced male continence? They found an experience that was richer than unrestrained, licentious behavior. Naturally, we know this as practitioners of semen retention, but it's good that, people long before us, that in like the sort of modern world-ish, not like back in the days of like the start when Buddha was himself, Siddhartha, was walking around the earth. No, it's just a bit more, it's a modern time, but a couple of years back. Here is the comment of a young man who had lived in the community and learned the new art of love. Art of love, by the way, is in capital letters. This Yankee nation, he wrote to Noyes, claims to be a nation of inventors, but this discovery of male continence puts you, in my mind, at the head of all inventors. And here are Noyes' own reflections on the psychological, social, and religious significance of his discovery. The practice which we propose will advance civilization and refinement at railroad speed. The self-control, retention of life, and advance out of sensualism, which must result from making freedom of love a bounty on the chastening of such sensual indulgence, right? All sexual, sensual, all of that, will at once raise the race to a new vigor and beauty and moral and physical. Do you understand all of these powerful truths that we're learning from this book? We've gone astray now. Sorry, Noyes. I don't know if you're huddling around me because I'm invoking your name in a very passionate way. I'm sorry. But if you're here, we apologize. We have gone astray as a culture. We are now very, very licentious. We have followed the ways of the Canaanites, the Philistines, all those various groups of individuals that were at war with Israel forever in the Old Testament. We have started worshiping their gods, not literally, but perhaps in a metaphorical, probably literal way. I'm sure these guys believe in child sacrifice somewhere. But this is what's been going down. This is what happened. And now we are not trying to power up and make innovations for the uplifting and the advancement of inventions that are very powerful for society. No, we are just basically inventing and innovating things for the further enslavement of society. This is just what's going on right now. Sexual continence, it's as synonymous as invoking the name of God or Jesus Christ or any of the disciples. You will get met with rocks. You'll probably get cut off from your friend group, and probably you'll lose your job. This is the time that we live in now. Aldous Huxley, please do not reincarnate and come back here. Mr. Noyes, don't come back here. We are living in such a horrible time. It's basically do what thou wilt, as Aleister Crowley, the degenerate, sort of preached. And this is just the life right now. This is wild. End of part 2, lads. Like, comment, subscribe, of course. Let me know what you guys think about this series. I love Aldous Huxley, I really do, and I love this chapter in particular. So I want to know what you guys think about me talking about this stuff. He's like one of my surrogate parents, so I gotta talk about him with passion. So don't let this world get you down. The people of this world, they've gone astray. We've gone astray, because I'm a sinner too, to some degree. But I'm actually trying to make a difference. I'm actually trying to do better. So stay radiant. I'll see you guys in the next one.